All right, folks, Coach Tate here with talking about the UFTA Challenge and mental health again. We are here with Principal of St. Bernard's School, Laura Brickson.
Hello.
Thank you so much for sitting down to chat with me today.
Oh, yes. Anything for you there, Tatum Wayne.
Much appreciated. UFTA Challenge is August 6th, which is tomorrow. So make sure you get yourself registered. If you haven't already, be sure to come on down and have a high old time.
And cheer on Pat Brickson, my husband, who'll be running. I think his start time's 9:30, maybe. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure that's correct.
Go Pat Brickson.
Awesome. Awesome. So, Laura, let's talk a little bit about how you got here in this role, and what your role is in terms of mental health here at the school.
Sure. Well, mental health really is it's a thing that's very near and dear to my heart. I know we've had family members and who have struggled mightily with mental health and a variety of issues. And it's one thing to be a teacher, which I was before principal, but also as a parent and trying to help someone who's struggling, and what we can do to help. And that has really affected me too now as a principal of how I can go and help kids. And one of the main things that I see that we as educators in schools can do is really try to provide kids those tools and to help them to become resilient, to help them to be able to be able to help themselves when they struggle, especially as they go forth in middle school and high school and in elementary school too. So trying to be able to help them and also to give resources to parents so that they can help their kids.
Awesome. Let's touch on that real quick, because I think that that there is a gap there.
Yes.
That needs to be filled. Our kids are, there's a lot of different ways that they're hurting and a lot of different ways that comes out, and it can be really challenging to try to figure out what to do. So what are some things that you could give parents as far as, one, just discovering that there's an issue, and then two, what to do about it once you make that discovery?
And you're exactly right. It's very confusing. It's not like you have a broken bone and you put a cast on it and then 6 weeks later you take the cast off and you're healed. That's not it. One of the biggest thing is communication. Being able to set up from the get-go, from when they're very young, to be able to talk about your feelings, as an adult. Like when you get frustrated and, the shoelace breaks or whatever the case may be, it's not the end of the world. It's like, talk through it. So you're modeling it for your kids. That's a big thing. Modeling it for your kids, especially when they're young. Being able to talk to them when they come and say to you, this hurts or this is bothering me. They may not know how to put things into words. And so opening up communication is huge and vital. So if they know that they can come talk to you over small things, they know that they can then come and talk to you over the big things. And being open about mental health. And it's like, hey, you know what? As an adult, sometimes I feel sad. Sometimes I struggle. I get frustrated or I get really worried and struggle with anxiety. Me, Laura Brickson, I struggle with, depression and anxiety. And it's okay to talk about that. And it's nothing to be ashamed of. And that's the biggest thing, is communication and to be there. The other thing is being willing to get help and to repeatedly when you need it. For example, we have wonderful resources in our community. We have, I know, being able to, as a parent and as a person, being able to talk to people, psychologists, psychiatrists, maybe you need meds, maybe you don't, but being able to talk about it. Maybe it is somebody in your church. Maybe it is a friend or maybe an outside person, but being willing to talk about it. And the biggest thing too is, recovery none of this is linear. It's not going to be like, okay, now we're cured.
Sure.
It's that, there's going to be tough times, and how can we move through it? Sometimes with anxiety, the biggest things with what I see with kids, because they can't say I'm sad. They don't always say I'm sad or whatever the case may be.
Mm-hmm.
They'll just say my stomach hurts. And so, there's simple breathing exercises.
Yeah.
Being able to, there's all these sorts of different things that you can do to help self-calm yourself. And so I try to teach that to kids too. Sometimes there's little tips and tricks and tools.
Sure. Yeah. So making sure you have a lot of tools in the toolbox.
Yes.
Things to calm yourself down, things to just being able to manage those feelings and try to express them. Lots of important.
And self-talk is really big too. Not like I'm an idiot, I'm a fool, because that's going to show up. It's like, oh, I'm stupid, I'm an idiot, I did this wrong, and I'm worthless, and being able to say, you know what, I got this. Right. And whether there's silly little signs by your desk or in your house or whatever that makes you feel a little bit better, or maybe I have a pumped up jams playlist.
Sure.
And I dance around the office, and yeah, there's a lot of dancing that happens here at St. Bernard's.
I have been involved in more than one of those.
We have a dance button. We have a button that's a dance party.
30-second dance party. Yep.
But you know what? You get the endorphins, you get the movement.
Yep. It changes the environment.
30-second dance party. That will take care of all mental illness. Little button. You hit the button. And it plays dance music.
Go with it, right? It's awesome. So you talked about shame, and I think you're right. That's one of those really big things that makes it hard to talk about. If you feel like you're weak, or you feel like you don't have the right to feel that way.
Yes.
And so like you say, being able to talk about it, making it okay to talk about those things, is such an important part of being able to help people and being able to get that help yourself.
Exactly.
Awesome.
And a big thing too, for me, is, sometimes people say, I don't have anybody to talk to, or whatever the case may be. Sometimes just having some quiet time, and for me, it would be maybe prayer, maybe in my office or in the church or just in the car. And for some people, their faith is something they can really hold on to, or even just saying something out loud, putting it out there to the universe and being able to, even if you're just talking to the inside of your car, being able to put it out there and relying, for me, relying on a higher power, relying on God has been very helpful.
For sure. Yeah, me too. There's yeah, I'm sure we could share lots of interesting stories.
Oh, yes.
Where that's concerned.
Oh, yes.
So with the pandemic, we've seen some major changes across society.
Yes.
I don't know if you've noticed any or not, but what are the big things that you're seeing from where you sit, maybe in the kids here, maybe in kids in general, maybe in our parents, the adults that you come in contact with? What is kind of the, if you had a barometer that was kind of measuring mental health, what are the things you're seeing move?
I'm seeing that there's a lot of factors that come in. It's whether it's something's going on in the job, something's happening with health, or something's happening in school, whatever the case may be, things all add up. Yeah. And so people have a very low threshold of how much more they can take. Yeah. So sometimes where before, if something bad happens, it's going to be before they might have more in their tank to be more resilient and to handle things, and now that tank has just been depleted, or it's very low.
Sure.
My role here too, I see a lot of, it's like, okay, how can I help you? It's going to be okay. we've got this. I'm here to help. Okay, let me see what I can help. Whether it's going to be, financially or mentally or academically or whatever the case may be.
Question, did anybody come and drop off a bracelet?
In just a minute. Okay. Go ahead.
Yes.
We're doing video. That's okay.
Yeah.
We're always busy in the office.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay. Sorry. Where the heck were we?
Yeah, talking about the
We're gonna step back
pandemic.
a little bit.
Talking about the pandemic. And
Absolutely.
so, and sometimes too with the, sometimes kind of the nature of where we are as a society too.
Right.
They don't have necessarily that well of resilience, but also too, they're very quick to judge whether this person's your enemy, that person's your enemy, this person's an idiot, whatever the case may be.
Right.
And we're all human. We're all trying to live our lives and be good people and be happy. And I think we also just need to give each other some grace.
Absolutely.
And think the best of each other. So
I think you hit the nail on the head in both cases. Like you say, that if the tank is close to empty, it's hard to respond, in the most constructive manner.
yes,
And that means that we're scared. Like, I think that there's a lot of fear because any little thing can throw us off.
and
so I
feeling
think
of
that,
lack of control.
Yeah.
Everything just feels like I have no control, but I can control this one thing, or I can't. You know what I mean? It's and
if someone messes with that, they're the enemy.
Yeah.
Or something.
yeah, or they
that
turn to something else to help them cope and control, and those things could be destructive. So
Certainly. So we see that. You talk about giving grace and trying to fill that cup somehow. What does that solution look like from a community standpoint?
I think that really looks like I think too that our community is trying to move forward with communication. I see that a lot in our schools and some of the things that they're trying to do with our community. I think being able to communicate and putting those messages out there that it's okay. Putting out, there's so much on social media that can be negative, but there can be a lot that can be positive.
Yeah.
And sometimes too, I'm scrolling through Facebook or Instagram, and somebody might put something out or post something, and it has to do with them. But it's really inspiring for me. So I think whatever I can do just as a person to go out and go make a difference.
That's right.
Go make a difference. Yeah, that's our thing. Say Burns. Go make a difference in someone's life, whether it's going to make them feel better or to smile or what you're doing. You're trying to go make a difference with hundreds if not thousands of people with bringing up mental health. And doing things exactly what you're doing and having the communication and being able to raise people up. I'm very fortunate to have some amazing friends who send me those little texts, which help quite a bit. Little memes, So
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Rising tide.
Yes, rising tide lifts all boats.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Well, Laura, thank you so much. Is there anything else you'd like to add? Anything you think would be beneficial for folks out there?
Well, first off, I want to say how proud I am of you.
Hi.
Yes. Yeah. You want to tell them how we met?
Laura here was my first grade teacher and my fourth grade teacher.
And fourth grade teacher.
And now she's my boss.
Yes.
my captain. Yep.
Oh yes. Well, I learn
We
as
have a lot of good
I
times.
learn as much from you. So it's been a pleasure and an honor watching you grow and become an amazing human being and dad and father and boss and
Japers, holy man.
co-workers and all that kind of good
You're
stuff.
making me blush here.
Oh,
for crying out
whatever.
loud. Well, thank you very much.
But the key thing is, if you ever need anything, please reach out to anybody for help. That's the biggest thing, is to reach out. And if you see somebody out there that you're just kind of feeling, wonder what's going on with them, you can reach out to them and say, hey, what's up? How you doing? Little things like that can immensely help and even save a life.
Yeah.
So check on your friends. Check on your strong friends too. So.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much
Yes.
for sitting down and chatting with us
You bet.
today.
Anytime.
Really appreciate it.
You bet.
UFTA Challenge, August 6th, Saturday. That's tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Get yourself registered. We're going to have a high old time.
Go Pat Brickson.
Go Peppers!